Put the wooden sword on the floor with the other hand. The sword is sharp. People are a little confused because you're not supposed to use a real sword. It's not a real sword or SAO. It's a real sword. But what else is he going to do? Your ass is serious. Just changing the training method. It's no big deal or peak. Put your sword on your shoulder. The voice's eyes filled with terrifying darkness. You just have to die and come back to life once. What? Is he going crazy again? Looks like it's coming this month. Don't look him in the eye. People are about to get scared. This guy wants more. Are you dead? I don't even look at the mail. You can play dirty with us. The Kier brothers are afraid to gather up like a hedgehog. Middle buttocks a little softer, but the brothers can win. If not, you have to beat me. It will make sure you can win. Those fucking Indians. Yogan can talk. If you can really win, I will follow your plan to the end. But what do you mean by that? To die again and again is SAO. Middle buttocks pointing hands on Golgol first stand out. This is when John realized he was the first victim, while others dare not even look. Middle ass face. The king turned to Chun Cotton for help, but also ignored. The others are the same. These names the Brotherhood is sure to last. I can't wait to hurry up my leg. Yoan stepped up. Well, I know. Reluctant step in front of his brother. You want to be stronger, right? Yogi, of course. I'm actually saying, this is a bit odd, but the brothers are strong enough. Training all the time. Of course, there is its fruit. Yogan asked again. I didn't say. We haven't been able to fight back. Or SAO. That's what it is. Then we have to be stronger, not SAO. Middle buttocks stopped thinking. If he was seen as a strong man in the South, it can be said the power of the South is the same as before. If you are exhausted, you can use the power of defeat. But luck needs more luck. Like the brothers, if you die, there is definitely no door. You can't rely on luck. Even with the help of God. He had to paint a winning picture for himself. Middle ass talking loud, the reason that Hoa's son cannot win the South. The brothers are too weak. Even though the condition has improved, but the actions of the brothers, it's the same as before. It's true, you explain it a little confusing. It's the same as before. What's wrong with acting like this? Have you ever thought that? Do you want to learn swordsmanship or not? In Hoa San, there are things that have to be fixed in the mind. Through swordsmanship to master the body. And finally, towards enlightenment, the sword is just a means how to get to the script. And these kids, there's no reason to think like that. Middle butt glances, look at each of your current students. The foolish Yogan asked, to beat your opponent, right? Middle buttocks helplessly landed. That's the answer. It doesn't fit a pious person at all. In other words, your answer is from a black guy. Religion is more correct. Okay, you said that. You know what? They'll definitely answer that. Not just your gold. You answered half right, your right to win. How to win with the sword. He pointed his sword at Yogold's face. Yo Gold replied, "Of course, we have to get stronger. We have to be stronger than our opponents to win." But the meaning you're talking about is a little different. Yogan still doesn't understand. It's hard to understand. You threw your brother a simple wooden sword. Yo Gold, grab it. From now on, my brothers will compete with me. Whatever you can do, try to use it all. I will only swing the sword once. Swinging the sword once. Come all, a Yogan is a person who is very close to the middle. I don't even know what he's implying. Although, it's impossible to beat this kid. But if he just swung down the sword once. If so, he's holding a wooden sword. Turn your ankles to get ready to attack. The eyes became more bold. I still hope the story is a little different. But I'm going to use the sword. Chung Kong is worried. Yurei laughing at me, are you worried? Yogan is a bit hesitant. I won't cut. Why is that? The whole family. Why didn't you answer clearly? And leave it open like that? This kid's not going to cut himself. What is he thinking? Yogan plucked up the courage to start. My ass is a little surprised. Brother, you seem quite confident. You said it's not what I said. To practice to death, or SAO. He looked at the brother in front of him. His hands and feet are trembling unconsciously. But that atmosphere is really commendable. Come on, Yogan. He jumped down from above with a wooden sword. The middle of the ass is still standing there. I didn't mean anything bad. One said that. But in my head right now, there are intimate moments. A little too much of you and your ass. Hoa hoa, swordplay. He slammed his sword down, as the middle butt easily dodged. It's filled with the smell of anger. What did I do wrong? The evil eye shows that you guessed right. Yogal turned around. Use 7 cum shots. Rush to the opponent. Middle butt back. Yogan combines both peanut flower swordsmanship. You laughed like you wanted to. Use 7 crystals to move, and combined with the sword flower. That's very talented. Talk about talent. Certain this kid is no less than the ejection theory. Just being confident is enough. But there's something. Middle ass, as promised. I didn't swing my sword half the time. My friends are standing outside with their mouths open. Brother is attacking hard and overwhelming. He's much better than we thought. Right, brother? Chan Cotton did not take his eyes off the game. Look closely. I can't even touch Chun's hair. There's nothing special about it. It's just a way of moving step by step, every step of the middle. Follow the sword of Yogal. It's elegant, so much so that the viewer feels it's like Yogan's sword trying to dodge Chung's ass. I couldn't even touch his body at all. But Chun frowned. This kid, you can really catch it. The entire movement of the opponent, SAO. Looking forward to painting for a few months. And this is the first time I saw the boy with an AI. Though OT work and just dodge. But I can feel it. Middle buttocks and students of Hoa-san's life. There's a huge level difference. I can read now. How much of that kid's movement is here? Chan Cotton is a bit suspicious about this strange appearance of his brother. There can be no. A young boy who's just joined the cult. It's so strong. Not even the slightest hint of a loophole. Just once swinging the sword. And constantly dodging. Goldbeard hard. He wanted to touch the wooden sword. It is like knowing your sword. Where are you going? Even the way you shake your head, you can also see that he could easily disarm his sword. How is it? You are not as motivated as you were at the beginning. Boy, aesthetic. It's too much that I tried so hard. The sword's hand trembled. I thought I was grown up. It can only be done at this level. Your panting makes your heart ache. It can't be like that. I can't do that. Zugan said that angrily. It can't be like that. I don't know where it's coming from. It's getting bigger and bigger. Even the wooden sword seemed to be several times more powerful. To become an air sword in the amazement of his fellow disciples. Your one brother can use the air sword. In fact, you take a step back. He holds the sword while training. The tiger rushed out again. Looking forward to just waiting for now. Just waiting. Yugen used all her power to fight you. After that, a loud noise came out. Everyone is in a state of wonder. It's a dent on the ground. The wall is about to break. This is because Yogen made Sao. That airway came from his own hand, making Sao. My ass moved closer to my brother. Yowen with a sweaty face. Tired of looking up. Then suddenly I saw middle buttocks holding high sword, trying to swing down on you. He said it's over. It's over. The sword went straight to Yogold's head. In a definitive way. I can't believe he did it with a real sword. A cloud of dust and smoke. As soon as middle butt hit. And then there's the little stones in there. Everyone's watching the middle ass blow. Yowen is sweating not knowing that he will be Ra Sao. He fell to the ground. I see myself still alive. Scared face. The sweat flowed like a stream. Your whole body trembling is how you feel now. How to ask your ass after throwing out the sword. His whole body is still shaking. You just put your face down and say, it only takes one stroke to enter the dead. The one. Son of a bitch. Your brother is so scared, he teases you. The middle buttock sword hand smiled and said, come on, take a break. Suddenly, Gong's ass turned and glanced behind him. He looked at them and said, next. Chun Fox Cotton ignored. It looks like he called you. The black man also pretended to respond. Anyone who looks at you can see that he called you. My brother came in and said, you guys. Try to think carefully. Just try to avoid Sao. The Chinese are confused and do not understand the words. The middle buttocks with a scary face continued. If you're not here, I will come to you. Just interrupted. He launched one into the place of the Hoa Sun disciples. Everyone is surprised. Your ass is screaming, come here. Under the full and bright moon. I just heard their 7-tone screams. After a while of fatigue, everybody's lying on the ground. Middle butt asked Yogan. Why didn't you stop the Yogan? Middle butt continues. I told you before. I will only use one sword. Why can't you beat me? When you hear that, Yowan replied angrily, who told you to do so quickly? Just thinking about fighting you. It didn't work. You're fast here with great power. 3-year-old kid knows that. The buttocks took a breath and said, That's good. Why don't you do that? The Yogan with a bewildered face replied. The middle buttocks held up their sword, swinging down a shot at lightning speed. Make the dust fly. He simply asked, didn't he? Yowan looked at the sword and asked, This is the sword I use. Middle buttocks landed right. With a face full of surprise, Yogold asked, It seems to be several times faster. You're not cutting down very slowly. Cho Yogold also told me. A sword when the night is rehearsed. A sword all day. I can do the same on the side. The buttocks continued slowly. If you keep using those sword positions, it's just the most basic swordsmanship. That AI can also do. Just say the middle buttocks and show Yogan. The first is the body. 2 feet must be firmly fixed so that the body does not shake, is the most important thing. And from there, transfer the power to the fingers, holding the sword. Let the hand and the heart be united. Just a swing of the sword. The middle butt could make the dust fly. This is internal Kai. Yogan focus follow the sword path of the middle buttocks. He stared at the sword and realized that it's not because of high skill, or it's too fast to see. Just by swinging the sword in a straight line, and have to master it. Yowan remembers the posture and way of swinging the buttock sword. From the back, I know what you mean. Instead of practicing swordsmanship, following complex and losing exercises, then we need to simply swing the sword. Softer and firmer body training. That's the point. You need to focus on the most powerful sword. He decided not to swing the sword twice. If you can't kill them at once, kill them. That's why I took turns fighting everyone. Chan Cotton silently thinks. Hundreds of hearing without seeing. To directly confront with the most powerful sword. And only hearing with your ears. It's 2 very different things. If the people here dare not to let the sword of the middle butt, I almost hit my head once. It is very difficult to understand this sword. One thing, buttocks. We are disciples of the painting. He was a disciple of paint. Don't knock down your opponent with the sword of the flower. Slowly ponder and wonder. What's the first basic thing about the 6 swords? Internal force air indicator. Middle buttocks serious face interjected. 6 combination of swords is not the sword of Hoa-san, Sao. Everybody sat up slowly and listened to the words of the middle butt. He went on to say, 6 cases are the basic foundation of Hoa-san. It's also a key milestone. Everything of Hoa-san. It starts with 6 and ends with 6. Suddenly, he dropped his sword to the ground, definitely, and shouted. But if we don't know how to exploit the 6, but only dancing flashy sword songs, how to lose flowers and 7 crystals. I hope everyone remembers. If you are not familiar with such things, learning the sword doesn't work. He said, your hand is holding the sword in his hand. The foundation is unsteady. Don't dream of building an architectural structure. Every martial sword of Hoa-san, it's all taken from the most basic of the 6. People around you are very focused. You need to practice martial arts first, to be able to become the best disciples. One slowly stood up and said, I know the meaning of the 6. How important is it? Then the middle buttocks turned to the louder side. Another man stood up and said, people here can't do it. To be honest, you are the only one who can create this power. From 6 cases, that's Zogun. He was like a wise man after being defeated. His hand tightened and trembled again. That sounds daunting, but what we need now is power. They can beat the South. Then training martial arts for yourself. His face was filled with seriousness, and so I want to ask you. If you study according to me, then at least maybe we won't lose to the South Vietnamese. Right? His face was quite surprised when he heard that question. The two looked at each other and said nothing. Suddenly, the butt bell flew back, grabbed the Yogin's collar, and say, I must have punched you. The Yogin replied with fear. My ass screamed furiously. Lost to Nam. He was a disciple of paint. I have no right to say that. Where did the student Hoa Sun lose to the South? Tell me quickly. This is happening. If you don't lose a match, you win 100. He yelled straight at the Yogin's face. It made him sweat. Even if you're tossed around in circles, or any form of fencing, they also have to win. He threw the Zogun to the ground and continued. Cowardice is ridiculous. Those who died on the battlefield, can you say 2 words cowardly? Everyone around you is sweating when you hear your ass say that. Eyes full of determination. Hold your hands tight, he shouted. You have to do everything to win. Everyone want get that rotten will out of your head and decide to fight. He went back and told everyone that. Bring your wooden swords. 1,000 times the practice of slashing down began. Everyone is shouting at the same time. 1,000 times my ass asked. Now you want to practice or you want to fight me? Move to a different scene. On the table is the leftover plate of bread. Suddenly, there's a voice from that AI. If you don't take your disciples from your ass, the 4 swords, it will not be passed on to the afterlife. There's 2 people talking to each other. One asked that. That must be too strong a sword. The other person replied, that's my concern. First, I'm just a brother. You can't put the kids under that body. Can you put it in here? The children were eventually brought in as disciples. Is there a crime? You have to be punished like that. That's your complaint. Even if you hit death, he will still be so stubborn. If you were a man dressed like that, there's nothing else we can do. Someone else answered, as if you were religious. Don't say such harsh words. The middle buttocks suddenly appeared behind the voice. The 4 brothers are behind him. He replied, I'm here. Same ass with a nasty face walking and talking. I naturally think of being annoyed. I do what I do. I just want everyone to be better. You did so well, and you blame it. I had to directly ride her. Only one step at a time can we understand that. What are you learning after all? I'd rather sweat during training than bleed during practice. Even if I die, it's not a big deal. What if I don't have you? The next disciples of Hoa Sun must have the spirit to honor the new paint flower. It's like a movie, bright as the wings of flowers and then quickly fade. Spirit, though not the root cause. But that's what helps. The tree survived. I know that, but it's not that easy. There's nothing but trees and trees. Middle ass, look around. You didn't see her that day. How much do you like to practice? No one goes up the mountain at the time of history. From AM to AM. You can practice your sword freely. You spread your legs. Upright posture ready. You tell yourself with your heart, you have to try to be strong every day. It's not about bringing back the destruction of the old days. That's not enough. Your very serious expression exuded danger. In front of you is the shadow of evil. I couldn't beat the ghost. If people don't join forces, it made his strength diminish like that. Then I can't be his opponent. The first sword in the world. They made the fight so bad. But fighting alone, even if there is a ghost, can't win either. If I'm strong enough to be able to defeat the ghost, why? If so, there will be no more bloodshed. All 4 of my brothers. And the 4. All of you. Maybe I'll go back to normal life. But continue the peaceful life as before. A life where there's only laughter. For a long time, there was depression. All the things. If my martial arts are deeper, I didn't let that happen. That cruelty. Nothing is for sure. A man like a ghost will not come back. Maybe one is stronger than a ghost. Will appear and target the high magi. To protect the paint from those scourges. It must be stronger than that. You're training like crazy with your whole life. There is no pain in this world. You may be stronger than me in the past. Each sword is learned again and sharpened continuously. And one more important thing. Even if you live a second life, the fight against evil in your heart, especially the ghost, it's killed the whole clan in the past, forever bursting it like a fire. It's burning bigger and bigger. Middle ass just wants to chop his arch raw into 100 pieces. The calamities of the ghosts. I broke everything I thought was right. Like he wanted to laugh at the thought that only we need to follow the path that the guru pioneered. It's possible to achieve a wish. I have to get through. The limits are there. The ass doesn't know. From the distance, there's a girl watching your every move. That person is no other. That's the sister you've been waiting for. She didn't believe what she saw. It was your eyes that showed it. My ass is determined to think in my heart. You have to overcome your own limits. And looking for a new way. And make it your own. To be able to achieve that wish. Looks like we'll find it. Close your eyes in the middle. Hold the sword in your hand. Even though it's still far away from me. It's not about creating a new sword. It's exploring a new sky. It won't be easy. He sighed dejectedly and 7 hopes. The buttocks just opened their eyes. When you see him, you don't know where he came from. Suddenly appeared, staring at your face. Middle buttocks took 5 seconds. The whole body is sprayed. It doesn't move until you're ready to talk. The middle ass is waking up now. Startled, panicked, screaming, full of fear, Mum. What are your lame pants? You quickly step back. Look forward to aesthetic bewilderment. That girl, what's her name? That's right, Jesus. But why is that girl standing right in front of me? And I can't feel anything at all. Yeah. How focused am I? It can't be like that. A little movement is not felt. Same last time, same this time. Think about it, even if you're standing right in front of me. But it seems to be a blurry existence. Who is this girl after all? Maybe you studied stealth or SAO. The buttocks looked at Jesus with suspicious eyes. Whatever the reason, this is possible. I don't know what she heard. At this time, Nu Jisu spoke up. Hear that? The buttocks immediately became tense. She saw it all. Fucking. First, it's as if nothing happened. I saw the middle of the sword. Jesus immediately became alert. Quickly on the defense. She nervously asked you. You want to kill someone. I hope you look at her stupidly. You're a killer. What are you crazy about? Suddenly, he hurriedly covered his face with his hand. The atmosphere right now became extremely quiet and tense. They looked at each other and smelled of gas. Nasty ass, look in aesthetic lap. What happened naturally? Now, there's only one way. The next second, he quickly put the sword in his pocket. Clasped hands politely and respectfully. Smiling, I said, "Excuse me. I saw you leave." Jesus hurried to stop. Wait a minute. However, the middle buttocks were a step faster for her. Directly plug the plug head.